Welcome to Learning Gateway. Today we will discuss the second category of arrangement, which is distribution. Basically, there is a minor difference between distribution and ranking. As in ranking, there is one and only one possible order of the data, while in distribution, there could be probability to arrange the data in 2 or 3 different ways. In distribution, one individual can occupy more than one places, or there is a probability to assign one place to more than one person at a time. Let's make this concept more clear and solve a problem of a distribution. The problem we have today that there are 7 luxury sofas and we have to arrange them in 7 different showrooms. From left to right, number from 1 to 7. And there are 4 restrictions about this arrangement as well. And we have to follow these restrictions while making arrangement. Let's symbolize these restrictions one by one and then we will move to the questions related to this order. The first restriction over here we have that X must not be placed adjacent to W. Let me symbolize it first. You can see clearly that I symbolize this restriction in 2 different shapes. The first one is that X implies not W and the second one is X cross W. As some of the books mention this as well. But let me clear you one thing, that there is no hard and fast rule to follow the symbolic operators or standard symbolic operator which have been mentioned in various books, especially in the book of Copy and Coher. The thing is, you can symbolize these restrictions as per your convenience and in a way that you can understand it easily. So the second option over here, which I mentioned, that X cross W, can make a little confusion in evaluating this option. So I prefer over here this one. But still, it is your choice whether you are going for first or second one. The second restriction about this order we have that S must be placed adjacent to T. So we can symbolize it in a way that Z and T and T and Z. As their order is not mentioned, that whether Z appears first or T appear first. So it can appear in both orders. Therefore, I just wrote down both of the possible orders of this restriction. The third restriction we have that Y must be placed at position first or last. So I just wrote down that Y implies first or last position. So let's move to the last restriction of this order. That if V is placed third, then W must be placed on 5th position. It means this condition will only be applicable when V gets on 3rd position. Otherwise, this condition will not be applicable. I just wrote down that V 3rd position well implies W on 5th position. Right now, let's move toward the question we have about this arrangement. The first question about this arrangement we have that which of the following is acceptable order of the sofas appear from 1 to 7. Here we have all the 5 options and we have to analyze each of them to find the correct order. The easiest way to analyze such options is the escaping rule, that check out each of the options with the given restriction, and if that order violating a single rule mentioned above, just move to the next one and leave that option as incorrect. Let's move to analyze each of them one by one. The first sofa appear over here is Z. Now we have to check it out that whether Z have any restriction or not. So yes, Z have the restriction that Z must appear adjacent to T. So you can see that the T is next to Z. It is not violating this restriction. Let's move to the next one, which is V, and restriction on the V is that if V appear on 3rd position, so W must be on the 5th position. So here, right now you can see that the W appear on 5th position. So this is correct as well. Right now the X we have over here that it have restriction that it must not be adjacent to W. But over here, Z is adjacent to W. So the position of X is violating the first restriction about this order. This implies that it could not be the correct order. Let's evaluate the second one, in which we have Y on 1st position. And there is a condition about Y that it must appear on 1st or last position. It means Y is on correct position. The second sofa in this order we have X, and the restriction about X is it must not appear adjacent to W. So there is no W on the right or left of the X. After X we have V, and the restriction about V positioning is that if it is on 3rd position, so W must appear on 5th position. So W is on correct position as well. In above condition, there is no restriction on the positioning of U but it must not violate other positioning. And W we have already analyzed. Then Z, and the Z must be a pair adjacent to T. And over here you can see that the T is adjacent to Z. So this is the correct option we have. And as we got the correct one, so we should not go to check out the available options we have. And this is the key to save your time in a time of attempting your paper. Let's move to the second question we have about this order date. If W is placed on 7 position, then which of the following is false? Here I just wrote down W on 7 position, but you can see the restriction about Y, that Y must appear on position 1 or 7. As W appear on 7 position, so right now Y must appear on first position. Right now we are confirmed about Y and W positioning, but we don't know about the other so far positioning. So let's analyze these options. Option number A, we have that I is on first position or on first space or in first showroom. So yes, it is. So yes, it is true. Y is on first position, but we have to find out the false one. Option B, we have that Z is on second position. As I have told you earlier, that in distribution we have the probability that each and every member could appear on more than one places, but not violating the restriction that individual have. So yes, there is a probability that Z appear on second position and T on third, but we have to find out the one about which we are 100% confirmed. Third option, we have that X is on third position. Yes, there is a probability that X could be on third, as H should not be adjacent to W. So X could not be on sixth position over here adjacent to W, but it could be on fifth, fourth, third and second. After that, in option D, it is mentioned that W is on third position. But right now, if we look over here in restriction number 4, that if V appear on third position, so W must be on fifth position. As W on 7th position, so it is not possible that W appear on third position over here. It means this is the false option we have. It implies that option D is our answer. The last question about this order we have that if Y is placed first and V third, then U must appear on which place? Let's find out the position of U. Here I just wrote down the position of Y and V. And you can see clearly in option number 4, in restriction number 4, that if V appear on third position, then W must be on fifth position. So right now, if you watch out the restrictions, we have that Z must be adjacent to T. For the positioning of T and Z, we have only one possible place. It could be Y on 6th position, Z on 7, or vice versa. But 6th and 7th position must be occupied by these two somas. After that, we have only two vacant positions, which is 2 and 4. But the restriction about X is that it must not appear adjacent to W. So X could not be on position 4. It means X must appear over here, and the position for U we have is only. I hope that will not be difficult for you to solve a case of a distribution just like this. Here is your assignment that a woman plans to plant 6 kind of herb, which is MOPRST. And there are 4 restrictions about this arrangement. After symbolizing these restrictions, you have to answer the question which are here on your screen. In our next class, we will solve a case of distribution where we will arrange our data in horizontal form. The different people living on various floors of the building, and we have to find out that which person is living on which floor. See you in next lecture.